Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. So on today's video we're going to be setting up my Litha / Summer Solstice altar. Now this year, my summer solstice was a little bit different than it usually is. I typically try to do something, but this year I got sick on the day of the summer solstice, and so I spent my evening and afternoon watching Death Becomes Her. It's a really good film if you haven't seen it, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do on summer solstice. And so I never actually set up a Litha summer solstice altar because I was ill and I was like, well, what's the point? But I ultimately decided to do it anyway, which is the video that you're going to be watching today, because I have a brand new apothecary table. I say brand new, I got it like 6 months ago, but that's pretty new, and it is the home of my new altars. So every time I have an altar to set up that isn't one of my permanent altars, it goes on this apothecary table, and I haven't shown anyone yet, and so I decided, you know what, let's do a belated summer solstice / Litha altar setup. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Now, as usual, if you've been here for a while, my altar setups are mostly time-lapse for while I'm setting it up, and then I'm going to run through a few of the things that I used and why I used them. So if you would like to see that, wait till the end and I'll run through everything that I've used. Otherwise, please just enjoy me setting up the Litha summer solstice altar, and I guarantee it's going to be a lot more calming for you to watch than it was for me to try to do it, because I've got altar pieces just hidden away in cupboards and it gets kind of tricky keeping track of everything, but I do hope that you enjoy. So this is the altar all set up. This is the new location for it. It's a little bit tricky because the light isn't very good, as you can see. All of this side is essentially in shade, which is simultaneously good and bad. Unfortunately, the lighting is just kind of harsh and not great. So the main thing is obviously the table itself. This is my apothecary table with a large tree of life in the center, which is temporarily covered, but I will be moving the incense burner and everything else off it once the incense is finished. The main piece for me anyway is the print. Now this print was something that I did last month. It's my first of the tarot card series that I want to do, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It just looks so pretty. And then next to it we do have an oracle card. This is Stonehenge, obviously because of the summer solstice. Now this is from the deck, the Wisdom of Merlin, which is a really beautiful oracle deck. I'm not sure if you can still get it, but if you can, it is so pretty. On either side, we have two separate statues. One is of a goddess with a tiger eye in her stomach, and then on the other side, it's a little bit hidden, but there is a hair. I'll actually grab that so I can show you guys. Is a golden hair statue. I'm obsessed with this, so this is going on there. On the picture itself is a little poppet. Now this is my hearth poppet. This is something that I have had for several years now. It is a protection poppet for my home, and she is absolutely beautiful. She always lives on here, so I wasn't gonna take her off for this altar, so she's still on here. I love her so much. So she has pride of place right in the middle. I then have another one of my goddesses. For those of you who've been around for a while, this is actually one that used to hang in my filming space in the background. She will end up back there again when I have the willpower to put holes in the wall, but I don't really want to do that right now. So she is sitting on here with the spiral in her stomach. I find spirals to be really evocative of the summer solstice, largely for me because of Stonehenge and the tour and the circular motion of it all. So I really like spirals. We then have a candle. This is actually one of the goddess candles, the brand new moon goddess candles we've just added onto the website, and she is sitting in a pentacle offering dish. It's just nice and secure. I really like burning things in these just so that the wax doesn't go absolutely everywhere. At the very back there is a really small chalice well pendant. This is actually my chalice well pendant that I use a lot, and I wear it a lot, not necessarily on videos, but just generally. And in the center, there is a moldavite. I don't really work with moldavite particularly often, but the summer solstice for me is very connected with Glastonbury and the chalice well, and this is the chalice well symbol. So this is on the altar as well. On this side, we actually have a color changing candle. So on the outside, it's black, and on the inside, it's blood red, which I really like for these fire festivals. I love the color red and orange and gold being included. So I figured, why not burn this one on the altar as well? And then the last few bits and pieces, we have my athame, we have my antler wand, which you know is some of my favorite pieces that I have in my collection, especially the wand. I love this thing. And then lastly, in the center, we have some solar incense burning on a charcoal disc. Now, I don't often burn incenses, loose incenses. I will typically do it once every Sabbat, so this is my burn for this Sabbat. And don't worry, ventilation is obviously really important to me. There are windows and doors open and whatnot. But that is my altar all set up, and I am so happy with it. It's definitely a lot more pared down than my old altars. There's no crystals, there's no extravagant items. It's just quite simplistic, quite nice, which I really appreciate because this entire cabinet takes pride of place in my living room. So that is the altar all set up. It is so much more simple than my old altars. I like the fact that it's on wood instead of on velvet of different colours. They are very difficult to store. If you do want multiple different altar cloths, it's very tricky to store them and keep them flat. I have an entire trunk that is just dedicated to velvet altar cloths, and I have a lot of colours. You know, I've got red and orange and gold and green and purple and pink and black and white, and it gets to be a lot. So I like the fact that because this table is solid wood, it's actually reclaimed wood, I can just put things on it and it still looks lovely regardless, especially with the Tree of Life carving in the middle. It's so pretty. I love it. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. My favorite thing is the print because it has been my baby for the last month. I have been working on this for a really decent amount of time. It took me way longer than I was hoping that it would take, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. So the print is probably my favorite, but also the goddess candles and the bobbly candles. I just love candles. You know what I'm like. I'm like a pyromaniac. I love candles. So that is the altar all finished, and it's going to be staying up for a good few weeks until I decide to change it out. But I really just want to enjoy this season. I miss the actual summer solstice, but to be honest, it was really cloudy and rainy and miserable in the UK anyway. So even if I had managed to get up and watch the Stonehenge live stream that they did this year, I wouldn't have seen anything anyway because it was so cloudy you couldn't really see anything. And also I heard that people started climbing on the stones, which is just like really not nice. Like if you have the ability to go to Stonehenge for the summer or winter solstice, the least you can do is not disrespect the place. You know, like, rubs me the wrong way. But yeah, I'm sad I missed the actual summer solstice. It would have been really nice to do something. I have a fire pit and I really wanted to use that, but ultimately I ended up not. And you know what, that's okay too, especially with this year and the anxiety of coming out of everything again and the anxiety of being in it, depending on where you are in the world. It's a lot, and if you don't feel up to celebrating on that particular day, then that's fine too. Most of the Sabbat celebrations that we see are derived from harvesting practices, and so it's going to entirely depend on the season and the time where you are. But for me anyway, I also consider them to be extended seasons. So right now we are really in the height of the summer season. We're starting summer now properly, officially. And so for me, Litha is going to continue on until the weather starts getting a little bit naff. And then it kind of goes into the harvest season. So that's typically how I work it. And I find not putting such strict deadlines on things massively helps me to actually get stuff done. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like. It really, really means so much to me. A lot of these videos that are more specific, you know, about specific Sabbats or specific workings, they don't really get pushed out by YouTube because they're not interesting, I suppose, for the majority of people out there on YouTube. So all of your support with likes and comments, it massively helps push the video out there because YouTube is just being a pain in the ass right now. So if you did like it, I would really, really appreciate letting me know. And also let me know whether you set up an altar this year. What did you do for the summer solstice? What are you planning on doing for Litha in general if you haven't done it already? Let me know. I would love to hear how you guys are celebrating this year. And if you do enjoy the magical content on this channel, in this video, feel free to hit subscribe. I do try to post videos every single week, usually on Wednesdays if I'm lucky. And all of your support is just the most amazing thing that I have probably ever experienced. So thank you so, so much for all of your support over the last 2-3 years. I think I've been on YouTube for 3 years now, and it means so much to me how amazing and lovely all of you out there are for just watching me, because I don't find myself particularly interesting, but I'm really glad that you do. So thank you, and I definitely don't say it enough. Okay, I'm in a soppy mood. I'm gonna go. I hope you all have an amazing day. I hope you have a marvelous, magical day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Let's put this in the middle, where it's meant to be. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Good enough. My hair is doing my head in. It's doing my bloody head in. I think that was the most like British grandma I could have become right there. All I need is like, biscuit. Do you want biscuits? Yeah? Biscuits? Are you hungry? Lunch? Dinner? Tea? Food. You need food. You look thin. This is literally the definition of like a British grandma. And they always have those mints, you know, those imperial mints, or those lime and chocolate sweets in those plastic packets. They just pull them out of handbags. Like, where do they come from? Sorry, tangent, back on track again. Not filmed in 2 weeks, can you tell? I certainly can. Distractions. Everything is a distraction.